Hello, and thank you for joining us on this episode of the Elder Care Legal Digest. Today, we are going to be speaking about asset protection, and I am going to be sharing with you 4 simple tips that every senior should know. And these are simple asset protection tips that all our seniors would find useful at some point or the other. Now, as we age, protecting what we have worked so hard to build becomes more and more important. And for seniors, safeguarding assets is not just about finances. It is about ensuring stability, independence, and the peace of mind that for the years ahead, they do not have to worry too much. They've already worked for what they have and they just want to make sure that it is protected. Unfortunately, many older adults face risks like financial scams, unexpected healthcare costs, or even family disputes that can put their assets at risk. The good news is that with a little planning and the right strategies, you can protect your hard-earned resources and make sure that they're used in the way that you intend. So here are the essential tips that we want to share with you today. So the first one is get your legal documents in order. I'll repeat that, get your legal documents in order. The first step in protecting assets is making sure that your legal documents are all up to date and that they reflect your wishes at the present time. A will and a durable power of attorney are foundational tools that every senior should have. The will ensures that your assets are distributed according to your wishes, and that is after your passing. Without the will, the law will determine how your assets will be divided, and this can lead to unnecessary legal battles and added stress for your loved ones. The power of attorney allows someone that you trust to handle your financial matters if you are unable to do so. And this is particularly important in cases of illness or any kind of cognitive decline. Without it, your family members may have to go through a time-consuming and sometimes costly guardianship court process in order to be able to manage your finances. So, taking the time to create or update these documents, for those who may have had one before, you may need to consider updating. So, taking the time to either create or update these documents can save you and your family a lot of heartache and confusion later down the road. Your second asset protection tip is consider setting up a trust. Trusts are not just for the wealthy. That is a common misconception. They are for anyone who wants to control how their assets are managed and distributed. Unlike the will, the trusts do not have to go through any kind of probate procedure. And that means that depending on how your trust is structured, you and your loved ones can avoid the delays, some additional legal costs, perhaps taxes, and public scrutiny. It can also be structured to address specific concerns like protecting a special needs dependent or managing assets for minor beneficiaries or very specific things like that. Consulting an estate planning attorney can help you decide which type of trust is right for your situation, because again, there are different types of trusts, but an attorney who is qualified and experienced in these matters can help you to decide which might be better in your situation. Your third tip is to plan for long-term care costs. One of the biggest risks to seniors' assets is the cost of long-term care. Nursing homes, assisted living, or in-home care can quickly deplete your savings. And so the earlier you start planning, the more options you're likely to have. For example, long-term care insurance might be an option that is worth considering. That will be dependent on where you are and whether that is available or readily available, although premiums can be expensive depending on the stage at which you're trying to get that insurance, but it is something that is worth considering. So plan for the cost of your long-term care. Another tip is, and this is the final one, we had promised you 4, I've given you 3 already, and so here's your final tip for today. Review your beneficiary and your beneficiary designations and your ownership structures. As life changes, your relationships change as well, and your priorities may change. So make sure that your beneficiary designations on life insurance policies or retirement accounts and bank accounts are all up to date. These designations often override any provision that is in your will. So keeping them current is crucial. If you own property, consider how it is titled. Is it joint ownership with the right of survivorship so that it can ensure that assets pass directly from one co-owner to another without going through any additional court process or probate process? This is an arrangement that may not always align with your broader estate planning goals. So it is important to evaluate your options with an attorney. Taking the time to review these details can prevent costly mistakes, and they can ensure that your assets go to where you want them to go. By taking these very simple steps, you can reduce the risk of financial loss, you can prevent unnecessary legal hurdles in time to come, and you maintain control over your legacy. Every senior situation is unique, which is why consulting with professionals such as estate planning attorneys is essential. They can help you to tailor a plan that meets your needs and provides the peace of mind that you deserve. The sooner you start, the more options you'll have. Protecting your assets is an act of care. That is an act of care for yourself and for your loved ones. And so that takes us to the end of what we wanted to share today. That's all for this episode, but remember, if you have any questions or topics that you would like us to cover in any of our future videos, drop them in the comments below and keep watching to see when we will have those answers for you. We also invite you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel and help us keep this information available and accessible to all our seniors. Thank you for watching, and see you again in our next video.